Hey, great to have you here. So today we're going to be talking about the movie Heretic. I had heard a lot of great things about this movie, and it seemed right up my alley, especially with being an A24 film, so I decided to finally check it out. I'll say it checked off most, but not all of the boxes for me. The high-level plot here is we have two Mormon missionaries going door to door to spread the word to those who may be interested. They wind up stopping at a guy named Mr. Reed's house, and they get pulled into an inescapable roller coaster of an encounter within his home. The casting here is very simplistic, us getting pretty much only four prominent characters. The two girls, Sister Barnes and Sister Paxton, played by Chloe East and Sophie Thatcher, Mr. Reed, played by Hugh Grant, and then Elder Kennedy, played by Topher Grace, which he was a little bit hard to recognize in this film, I'll say. The acting from all four characters, I'll say mostly three since Topher's barely in the movie, is incredible here. Hugh Grant specifically, as a charming yet menacing foe, is extremely well done here. He somehow balances coming across as both gross and creepy, yet calming at the same time. I also liked that the choices made by the two girls here are mostly logical choices. Horror movies specifically have this reputation as far as characters making unrealistically bad decisions throughout the film that wind up leading to their demise. However, here the girls seem pretty bright overall. The set pieces for this film are also pretty basic, with almost all of the film taking place within Mr. Reed's home itself. There are some really great discussions here and some thought-provoking conversations, and this is where I personally found the film really shined. Things like when Mr. Reed would point out that the girls gave little white lies to avoid awkward encounters, which a lot of us do in everyday life. Mr. Reed's speech on how religion, games, music are all copies of one original idea. The Monopoly example was particularly interesting for me. And then the slow realization for the girls that this is an inescapable situation, with little hints like the blueberry pie scented candle or Mr. Reed's wife not coming out to greet them. Eventually, our two protagonists wind up going deeper into his house and realize how intricately laid out it truly is. With things like far down staircases leading to a cellar and then trapdoors going down even further, I got some Barbarian vibes here if you're familiar with that movie. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed Acts 1 and 2, all the way up until around when Topher Grace shows up to the house. I think the rest of the movie is alright, but doesn't quite live up to the premise setup that we had established. There are some minor cracks in the film. One very small one I'll point out is that there's a scene where Hugh Grant writes belief or disbelief on two separate doors, and after he writes disbelief, we get a camera cut, and the handwriting written on the door is completely different. Another one that's more important because it's more plot-oriented is that how did he plan on the girls going up to the door in the cellar when Topher Grace rings the doorbell? Maybe if you want to say he normally rings the doorbell himself or has some other sort of distraction, but it was awfully convenient that Topher Grace shows up and then the girls wind up going to the door when he's there. But even then, I don't know how the two girls didn't hear the woman come out and throw the other one down the ladder in that trap door. Some of the setups just felt a little bit too convenient. There are small amounts of comedy thrown in here. Probably the biggest one for me personally was when Topher Grace shows up to Mr. Reed's house for the second time, coming back. We're thinking as the audience, oh, maybe he's going to investigate a little bit further. But nope, turns out he's actually there just to deliver a flyer for their church. The big reveal of control being the point of the film, while clever and fitting for an A24 climax, fell a little bit flat for me. I'm not positive what I would have preferred, but it didn't quite measure up to my hopes. Having all the women trapped down there from different religions was an interesting concept, but I don't know, I guess I was hoping for more of a shocking reveal. Or maybe even the two girls finding a way to outwit Mr. Reed and turn his funhouse of horrors on himself. They did have a pretty cool cinematic scene where Sister Paxton's running through the corridors of the home, and then we see that Mr. Reed has this entire house layout in this tiny model setup. Definite spoilers here, but I was hoping they would give Sister Barnes a better ending. I realize it's a horror movie, so not every character can have a happy ending. It's pretty interesting on the various ways you can interpret the ending of the film. At first glance, you see Sister Paxton leave the house after Sister Barnes kills Mr. Reed, and she winds up running out there and seeing a butterfly land on her hand, which is a call out to earlier in the movie where we had Sister Paxton say if she died, she would want to come back as a butterfly and land in somebody's hand to let them know that it was her. However, the butterfly suddenly disappears, so we're kind of left to wonder, was it actually there or not? Was it Sister Barnes? Was any of it actually real at all? Maybe she died in the house, and she's just imagining this as her last thought. It's pretty open-ended for you to believe or disbelieve whatever you want, which is a cool tie-in to the point of the film. As far as a rating here for the movie, this is definitely an above-average film for me, and I encourage you to check it out if you haven't. I definitely prefer the first half of the movie over the second half, but by no means are the later parts of the film bad. For now, after one viewing, I'm going to give the film a 7 out of 10. It's something I'll plan to watch in the future, especially with those who haven't seen it, and I found it to be an overall good time with some deep perspective on religion without overly taking a stance one way or the other. So those are my thoughts. Have you seen the film? If so, what'd you think of it? How would you score it? And what were some of your favorite or least favorite parts? Sound off on all things Heretic in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to talk to you again soon.